Rejection is beautiful when it's accompanied by flowers or with flowers. All right, so I'm going to get into this one. I talked about my family structure in one of the previous videos. Everybody who has watched it, which isn't very many, but know that I have a stepdad who was married to my mom, still is. Now, my biological dad, I did not ever meet him. He was there when I was a baby. I have no idea really what happened. My mom never really talked about it. But I do know that I asked a few times growing up when I could meet him. I expressed that I would like to meet him. It never happened. We were supposed to be going overseas. My stepdad got a job at one of the bases overseas, and in order for me to leave the country, my biological dad needed to do something. I think it was sign like some type of permission for me to be able to leave the United States and go overseas, and it was a hassle. I remember my mom like saying, well, I don't think we're going to be able to go because he won't sign, these documentations. He won't sign this paperwork. His name was on my birth certificate, so it was almost like he had to because of my age. I think I was in the third grade going into the fourth grade. She finally got a hold of him. I remember her talking to him, very quietly in a hotel room. She was in the bathroom talking to him. I don't know exactly what was said, but I do know that she was like, well, he doesn't want to, sign it. Eventually he did, though. Now, we ended up going down south, which is where him and my mom originally met, because my mom is from the south. And we were actually already down there. I can't remember why, but we were already down there. And she asked me, like, do you want to try to go meet your dad? And I was like, yeah, I do. So we went to a store. I picked out some really pretty flowers. I thought they were absolutely beautiful. It was just assorted different flowers. And then I also got a card. Now, I don't exactly remember what I put in that card, what I wrote in there. I probably mentioned that I loved him, wanted to meet him, was excited to meet him. We get to his mom's house. So this would be my paternal grandma's house. My mom says, oh, that's his car in the driveway. It was like this light blue, I don't even remember what kind of car it was, but it was old school. It was light blue. Definitely looked like, he had some like good customizing done to it, customized paint job. And she said, that's his car. Those are the kind of cars he drives. It had 2 doors, it was cute. It was like a little sports car, whatever. So we go knock on the door. We knock on the front door. Nobody answers. There's like 3 cars in the front driveway, and then they didn't answer the front door, so we walked to the back. There's like lots of cars there, and then my mom goes, somebody's in there. Somebody just looked out the window. And I'm like, oh, good, maybe they were taking a nap, they're finally awake, they're gonna open this door and I'm gonna meet my dad. None of that happened. Okay, none of that happened. Whoever it was that looked out the window made sure that nobody else looked out the window and made sure that nobody answered the door. We were leaving, and I'm holding these flowers and I'm holding this card, and I'm like thoroughly disappointed, more so, but I'm like embarrassed too, because I feel like I look dumb out here holding flowers for a grown man. And so my mom was like, well, what do you want to do with the flowers? And I'm like, I don't know what I want to do with these flowers. You know what I mean? Like, I've never done this before. I've never even bought anybody flowers, especially of the opposite sex. I've never done that. And she's like, well, maybe we could just leave him on the car. I'm like, leave him on the car? What do you mean? She said, well, put him on the windshield. So I did. I put the flowers and the card inside the windshield wiper, and we walked back to the car and got in the car, and I remember crying in the car on the way back to the hotel. It just, I mean, it kind of sucked, but it didn't take me long, and by long I mean like years and years. It was like a gradual thing that it was like, okay, whatever, he didn't want to meet me, fine. I think I had already gotten used to being rejected I felt like I was rejected by my mom quite a bit by this time, and so it was just kind of like, whatever. And then I felt like I got rejected quite a lot from kids at school, because I was different. So it was just kind of like, I want to say it was his loss, but I always wondered why he never wanted to talk to me. I always wondered why he didn't really want to talk to my mom. And as the years progressed, like, I kind of was like, okay, I see why he didn't want to talk to my mom, but what about me? Years later, I found out that he has more kids. They reach out to me on Facebook. How they found me, I have no idea. But, I have a sister. I know I have one brother. I don't know how many more of us are out there. And all of us have basically the same story in the sense that he doesn't talk to us. So, I mean, sometimes a rejection rejection sucks, but it's a part of life. I don't really feel like I missed out on much without him being present, especially if that's the type of man he is, that's the type of person he is, where he rejects all of his kids. I don't feel like I missed out on not meeting him. And I will always feel that way. And I don't really care if I ever meet him or not. And in hindsight, looking back, I don't think I would ever put either one of my kids in that type of situation to where they would be rejected, especially by a grown man, a grown adult, knowing that adult didn't want to mess with my kids. Even if it was their child, I would not do that to them. So, I mean, I kind of looked at it before when I was younger, like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. And I'm just like, why would you even put me in a position to do that? It's not something I would do to my kids. But sometimes rejection is beautiful when it's accompanied with flowers in the end.